Hello gamers, it's Tom Sidener, the Lonely Gamer, and GenCon is just around the corner. GenCon 2017, the 50th anniversary of GenCon. It's going to be the biggest GenCon ever. The 4-day passes sold out within the time period of selling them, and as far as I can tell, some of the 1-day passes have sold out also. I've got my ticket, I've had it for a while, I'm ready to go to GenCon, and I thought for this video I would go over my top 10 anticipated games for 2017 GenCon. Now, the first thing is, I don't want to just leave it at my top 10 because there's a couple honorable mentions that I want to mention, so I'm going to talk about those first. So let's talk about my honorable mentions for GenCon 2017. The first one is something that I have to talk about. I have to mention this. Hopefully they'll be demoing it there, and it's the game that I'm looking forward to more than any other game for 2017, and that's Mythic Battles. I cannot wait for this game to come out. I've done some videos from the print and play that I made. I'm looking, every week they're showing us more pictures of the figurines that are going to come with it, and the play boards and the pieces and everything, and I'm really looking forward to Monolith bringing this game out. But I'm hoping that Monolith actually has a demo copy there, and then maybe I'll get to play it. I really like the game, and so I have to mention Mythic Battles. It's not going to be available for sale at GenCon, but it hopefully will be there for demo. Another game that I would like to give an honorable mention to is a game called Photosynthesis. And that game looks pretty amazing. I want to check that out at GenCon. It may be one that I pick up. It has to do with trees, and small trees and large trees, and how the large trees block the sun from the small trees, and you are trying to build your trees in a way to gain the most sun. The sun actually moves around the board, and so as the sun moves, trees that used to actually get sunlight are now blocked behind bigger trees and stuff like that, and it looks like a really neat game, and I really want to check that out. I think that's something that may interest me in the long run, but at the current time it just did not make my list for my top 10. Another game that I'm interested in checking out at GenCon, mainly because one of my buddies is interested in this game, and it's the game Indulgence. It's actually a re-theme of an older game. It has a Catholic theme to it, and a friend of mine is really into that, and so he really wants to check that game out. So I'm probably going to be checking that game out while I'm at GenCon and giving some feedback to him on how it looked, or how it played, or you know, just generally how the game was. The last game on my honorable mention is not really a game, it's just a box. And it's the huge box for the DC deck building game. If you guys watch my videos, you know I'm a fan of the DC deck building game, and I have several of the iterations. I don't have them all. I met a guy the other day at the game store who had every single item for the DC deck building game. It's pretty impressive. He had all the promos and all the decks, and we actually sat down and we played the game, and I really enjoyed it. But I would like to have a really nice storage solution for my DC deck building, because I do have several of the games and several of the packs, so I'm looking forward to picking up the DC Multiverse box at GenCon just so that I can have it to store my DC deck building game. Okay, so let's get down to my top 10 anticipated games for GenCon 2017. Number 10. Number 10 is the Dungeons & Dragons Tomb of Annihilation by WizKids. My wife and I really love the Dungeons & Dragons Adventure Series games, and as you can see, there's one right behind me here on the shelf, Temple of Elemental Evil. We play that quite often. She really enjoys it, and I enjoy it also, so it's going to be really nice to have a new themed version of it to be able to put on the table and play. As always, it can be mixed with the other games, and so you can have, you know, a Charlatan flying around and the Temple of Elemental Evil and so on and so forth. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And that's number 10 on my list. Dungeons & Dragons Tomb of Annihilation. Number 9 on my list is a expansion to a game. It is the Cities of Splendor. It's put out by Space Cowboys. And all the people in my game group really like Splendor, and I've gotten a little bored with it because it's kind of the same old, same old. So I'm really hoping that Cities of Splendor actually adds enough to the game to make it so that we start playing it again, because I really do like the game, and I'd like to see it come to the table more. My number 8 is definitely an expansion to a game. It is Cry Havoc's Aftermath, put out by Portal Games. Now, Cry Havoc is one of those really weird games. I like Cry Havoc, but I never get to play it because the one person that I play games with the most is John. He hates the game. We've played it several times, and John's never won. Not one time. And I think he thinks it's broken. I've had him play all of the factions in the different factions, and I've always ended up winning, except for he's never played the yellow faction, which is the one I usually play, the humans. And he thinks that the humans just always win. I'm kind of hoping that Aftermath maybe adds some stuff to the game that maybe will bring him in and make him want to play it again, and maybe he'll turn out to like the game. I actually considered getting rid of the game at one point, but then I went back on that and I actually kept it, and I'm really excited to see what Aftermath will add to the game. My number 7 on the list is a game that I almost kickstarted. I was really close to kickstarting it, and then in the end I didn't. So I'd really like to pick it up at GenCon if possible, and it's Dynamite Nurse by Japanime Games. I have a wife that's a nurse. I have a daughter that's a nurse. They both like the nurse theme. I like Japanime's artwork, and so I'm thinking between the two, it might be a game that I can get to the table to play with my wife and my daughter. It has a theme where you're trying to cure sick people, and I think that's going to be something that they would enjoy. It's a deck builder, and they already like deck builders, so that's another game that I think is going to get some play in my household. So that's Dynamite Nurse by Japanime Games, my number 7. My number 6 is a game that I hadn't seen before until recently, and now I'm really intrigued by it. It's another medical type game, and that's called Viral. And in this game, you are putting out viruses, and you're trying to infect different parts of the body. And I think there's some cures going on, and the cures wipe out your viruses, and you're trying to get points by infecting different things. And then also you've got different ways your viruses can move around the body. You've got your arteries and your veins, and the viruses can only move one way or the other through the viruses and through the veins. It's a really beautiful game. I've seen the artwork for the main board, and it looks amazing. It's kind of got a white background, and I kind of like that. There's not that many games out there that have a really white look to them, and so it's bright and vibrant. The colors really pop on it, and I'm really intrigued to get this game. So my number 6 game is Viral by Arcane Wonders. My number 5 game is Unicornus Knights by AEG. Unicornus Knights looks like a really cool game because it's a cooperative game, but in the game, apparently you have this little queen character who is really irritated with the main bad guy, and she is just rushing headlong in to just get herself killed. And you have to kind of direct her and help her to kind of get to the final location when she's strong enough, or you and her together are strong enough to beat the big boss. So you do have to kind of delay her a little or stop her a little along the way from just rushing in the beginning and getting killed. It looks like a really unique mechanism for trying to win the game. Like, not only are you working together with the other players to try to win the game, but you're also trying to work together to try to keep this little character at bay from running in and getting killed. And that kind of intrigued me, so that's my number 5 on the list, Unicornus Knights. My number 4 on the list is a pick up and deliver game in the post-apocalyptic time period, and that is Wasteland Express Delivery Service. And this game really intrigues me. This game, the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, that's a really cool concept. You're a delivery service in a post-apocalyptic time period, and you're trying to get ammo and other things from one location to another while you're dealing with bandits and you know, things are trying to kill you and eat you. I think there's monsters out there and everything, and it just looks really cool. It looks really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. The artwork looks good, and everything looks really fun in this game. So that's my number 4, Wasteland Express Delivery Service. My number 3 is Buffy Legendary. Now, I will say that this would have been my number 1 game on this list, bar none, if this would have been Legendary Encounters. And I do not understand why Upper Deck did not make this game Legendary Encounters. This game was made for Legendary Encounters. They could have had episodes of the show that were playable scenarios that you could buy, and you could play through the different things, or even maybe not even, if it wasn't each show, it could have been a season. You could have played through Season 1, you could have played through Season 2, Season 3. I just don't get it. I'm really baffled. I'm hoping it's a good game. I like Legendary okay. I play the Legendary Marvel game, and it's a fun enough game. But I play the Legendary Encounter games like the Aliens and the Predator and all those, and I love those games. And I was so excited about a Buffy Legendary Encounters game, and it just didn't happen. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know, is Buffy going to be backstabbing Xander and Willow in an attempt to get points? I just don't know how it's going to work, and I still love Buffy. It's one of my favorite shows, and I love games associated with Buffy, but I'm just really on the fence on this one. But it has still got me intrigued enough that it's number 3 on my list. I'm going to buy it no matter what. I'm just hoping it's a fun game to play. Number 2 on my list is another game that I've just recently been introduced to, but it looks absolutely amazing, and it's Immortals by Queen Games. Mike Elliott has designed this game, and it looks super amazing. You have a dark side and a light side. You have minions on both sides that they're using to try to take control of areas, but when your minions die on the light side, they actually get transferred to the dark side, and when they die on the dark side, they get transferred to the light side. So when your minions die, they don't just come off the board, they move to the other side, so you can sacrifice creatures over here to make yourself stronger over here. It looks like a really amazing game. It's got different types of creatures. You've got good creatures like elves and dwarves and stuff like that, and you've got dark side creatures like dragons and demons and stuff like that, and it just looks like an amazing game. The artwork looks amazing, and I know Mike Elliott does pretty good stuff, so I'm pretty excited to see this game. That's Immortals by Queen's Game. Okay, and now the number 1 game on my Gen Con list, and it's not even a game. It's actually expansions to one of my favorite games. So my number 1 anticipated item, I should say, at Gen Con are the Ashes expansions, the new expansions that are the deluxe expansions that have dice and a card box with them. They are called Song of Soak-End and Laws of Alliance. I've been waiting for these to come out since they were announced about 6 months ago. I'm really looking forward to it. It looks like they're going to be available at Gen Con. They are decks of Ashes cards, but not only decks, they come with a really, really nice box that you can store your deck in, and it comes with specialized dice that are only available to these decks. So they're new dice, not the dice that comes in the original base game, but they're 2 separate sets of new dice that come in each one of the expansions. I'm really looking forward to this. I love Ashes. My son and I play Ashes a lot, and anything new for Ashes I can get, I'm always wanting to get. And so the Ashes Deluxe expansions are my number 1 item that I'm looking for at Gen Con. And that's it. That's my list. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have your own list, feel free to leave it in the comments below. If you disagree with some of the items that I have on my list, you can go ahead and put them in the show notes below. Also, I'm always up for your disagreements, but the thing is, this is my list. These are the things that I'm looking forward to, so I'm sure there's things you're looking forward to other than what I'm looking forward to. Also, I hope to see you guys at Gen Con. If you guys see me at Gen Con, come up and say hi. I'm the Lonely Gamer. I'll be there by myself, believe it or not. So I'll be there all by myself. I'll just be wandering around. I'll be welcome to talk to anybody that comes up and wants to talk about games. And I'm looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to going there and having a good time. I am going to be staying off-site. My brother-in-law lives in the area, and I am going to go to the show during the day, and then in the evening I'm going to go back. I'm going to spend some time with my brother-in-law and his family, and I'm going to play some games with his daughters. He has teenage daughters that love to play games, and so I'll just take the games that I buy at Gen Con, take it back to their house and play it with them. So I'm looking forward to that. So until I see you guys again, happy gaming, and I may see you at Gen Con. So happy gaming there.